and yeah, you've got full voice. There might be a bit of a delay, but I'm recording this, so this should be a good follow up. The reason why I wanted to go live tonight on a Friday, which is unusual for me, I took a break from the podcast because I needed it, and you have to refresh your mind. Forgive me, I'm looking forward in my other recording camera. um, Always kind of difficult when you're trying to do your own podcast and you're trying to get the best camera shots, and you can't always do that. So I do hope my sound is coming through clear and nice to you. But I want to wish you well on this Friday evening. I'm Stephen Farhay, the host of the News for You podcast. Going out to you live. I'm going to cut down my life because I haven't got burnt out yet, but I wanted to take a break, and I think if I go 4 days per week, it's much better. And this won't be going out live to TikTok anymore. It began pre-recording onto TikTok because of different content strategies. But anyway, I want to try to answer this question: what is life all about? Because I've posted a lot of videos this week and last year, really, on what is life all about. And I think some people argue life is about having fun. I want you to think on that for a moment. Personally, what I've learned, certainly in my Christian walk, okay, I'm a born-again Christian. Most of you know that. Some of my friends and family, you'll be watching this tonight, seeing a little bit of me. I'm looking around because I see something in the background. I can't think what it is. Oh, it's the chair, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, forget that. But no, I'm a born-again Christian, so my life is about serving God, which I don't want to go into massive detail, but for me, I love helping others. But at the same time, I do need to slow down. I do need to take pause because I have epilepsy. And last year was a difficult year for me because I was going too hard and I burst half of the year. I had 2 seizures, one in the later part as well. So I know I now need to work a lot more smarter because I've got other health concerns as well. Nothing that nobody needs to be worried about, but we all have health concerns, and I think at the start of it, when you try to answer this question, what is life about? It's a very difficult question for all of us because we're all human, right? And each one of us has got our own thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, which is your emotional intelligence. And a lot of us are scared to try and answer that question because we've been through so much in our lives. And when I look at the world today, what I see from my own independent research, and you've got 2 wars in Europe, and there was a great episode on Diary of CVA from Stephen Bartlett, from somebody that was saying we're going into the war era again, and it's so true because there's 2 wars in Europe and there's other conflicts around the world that you don't see in media, and it's very difficult for everybody to try and focus on their mental well-being, which is what I try and teach, and try to be happy. And you can't be happy 24/7, yeah, because it's impossible. The brain does not work like that. And even on the podcast, he was saying we still don't know enough about the human brain. It's so true. And credit to all my, psychologists and clinical psychologists and counsellors. I'm retrained to become a counsellor. I claim to be a growing expert in several fields, which I am because my knowledge is higher. But we still don't know collectively together as humanity what goes on up here. And I think, to be honest with you, not to be too religious, I don't think that God meant for us to know everything about what we do and how we do from a a psychology perspective. Because, most of my brands that I have, none of them are making money. That's fine because I love the journey. And they're called Learning News for You, which is my core brand. And I say for you because we're learning for ourselves and to help others. And I really think that for me personally, life is about helping others. And through that process, I will be happy. Some people get caught up in the world of richness, wanting to do things and, try to grab everything they can. And that's a difficult one. I don't believe in that myself as a born-again Christian. I'm more of a giver than a taker. if that makes sense. And most of my friends that might even some of you be watching this will vouch for that. But sometimes because I wear my heart on my sleeve, sometimes I get hurt. And yeah, that has happened to me. Yes, I've hurt people emotionally, and that's, we learn through life. Okay, life is about learning and trying to find our different pathways, and we go through different stages in our life from being 10, 20, 30, 40. I'm approaching a few years off, but I'm approaching my late 40s. Well, I am late 40s, and I'll soon be 50 in about 2 or 3 years time, which is great. I feel about 40, 30, and I'm still here despite all my health conditions and mental health. I'm going strong. When I say strong, I don't mean I'm on top of the world. I think that would be an overstatement, to be honest. What I do mean, though, is I say to people, look, at the end of the day, you get one life on this planet. And I've tried to do social media videos on this, and they haven't really hit the nail. So I'm going live instead on that subject. You get one life on this planet, and okay, I believe in something different. I'm a fairly religious person, not really religious, but I know my purpose um, from the Lord Jesus Christ. I'll say it like that. But um, some of us really, really struggle with our purpose in life, and we don't know what road to take. And that's where our mental health problems can really take hold of us. We go through life thinking that we're going to be a family man, have a car, get married, have a nice house. That didn't work for me. I thought that was going to be my case. It didn't work for me. I got married and it didn't work out, etc. And I kind of lost my career as a teacher. I gave it in because of my health, but I'm on a different pathway. I'm excited about that. So I truly think sometimes in life that we go through stuff that's so painful, hurtful to us, and we think it's the worst time ever. I mean, my epilepsy like 5 years ago was like horrendous. It was like having seizures every week, and it was just. Do you know what I mean? We've all got different conditions. No, we're not Superman or Superwoman, as I always say to people. So we've got to look after our health, our physical health and mental health. We have to slow down. So going back to the conversation of what is life about, I think it's the challenge of life is life. So we go through life experiencing things that are sometimes we can see in the distance, sometimes we don't see, and that's all right. Because when I used to teach my students as a business studies teacher, I tried to inspire them through the skills that I had, but I never spoke about the dark times. I wasn't really allowed to, really. I wish I could have gone back a little bit and said, look, this is some of the stuff that's happened to me. Not too personal because you can't really do that in some situations, but should we be a bit more personal with our students? Maybe that's a question I need to throw to you. Um, you know, life is difficult, but at the same time, if we don't understand our vulnerability, and there's a lot of articles on LinkedIn and etc. that say, vulnerability is something that we need to invest in, and that's important for all of us because at the end of the day, vulnerability is it shows us it shows our inner skin, outer skin, and some of us say, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to. And it's like, I mean, I'm scared of heights now as an older person, right? Which is kind of funny. And rightly so because I'm sensitive to different things because of my epilepsy. But if you was to put me at the edge of a cliff or a hang gliding thing, what episode from Only Fools and Horses, where he has to go off and fly, uh, and I'd be scared. I really would. I'd be, but some things in life, I think we have to go through that toughness, that bad experience. You're on the edge. You don't want to do it, but if you don't do it, you're never going to find out. And I think for me, one of the things that have really led my life and gave me, really good kind of self-wisdom, or some of us call it self-leadership, is the ability to push forward, right? Punch forward, yeah, not literally, but go forward with your heart and your head when things are really, really, really tough. And I think that's just glorious, because look, I mean, I'm sitting in my bedroom and I'm looking up and I've got my Bible, my doctrine study, and there's a book by Dr. Stephen Peters, fantastic book on the inside of the mind and the inner chimp, which argues with us all the time. I'm a big believer in that theory. I know it's only one theory, but I do believe in it. And I do think that we've all got our inner voices. And sometimes I think the danger is in life that sometimes the medical and mental health professionals want to diagnose us and say, look, you're schizophrenic, you're this, you're that. And they give us a label. I don't agree with a lot of the diagnoses that we give to ourselves. And I think that's one of the reasons why our mental health is quite poor in this era. But at the same time, when I look at the world today and I look at the past, and you look at the time and the history, we are becoming more angry and we don't know how to deal with our emotions. I know for a fact that locally, different crimes are going up, and it is scary. And the only real way I can see us pushing forward as a society is saying to ourselves, you know what, we need to re-educate ourselves. But that's difficult because you've got so many different generations, Z, X, baby boomers, and all the rest of it, that it's impossible to cater for everybody, because you can't take everybody and bring them back, go back to the future, put them back in school and say you're going to go for a new specialist training. We'll give you all the knowledge you need about your mental well-being, emotional intelligence. We'll give you even some social media marketing strategies if you want to start a business, some real good stuff. Yeah, the world doesn't work that way. But re-education through e-learning videos, this podcast, and other different things are definitely, we need that, and we need to push through on innovation. However, because we're becoming more angry as a society, you're going to see more wars, and that brings a lot of different dangers. We want to prevent the loss of life, so we have to. My job really as a thought leader is to try and grow my independent research, do little podcasts like this and other loads of bits of content, write as many articles as I can that's going to get a global effect, try and teach people, look, this is the better way to live. I don't have all the answers. I know that I'm still learning my own life and my own journey, but I share my journey because I sincerely want to help others. And a psychologist or a clinical psychologist will back me up and say, look, those that have suffered before in the past, I've been through different sets of trauma, are very sensitive to other people going through pain. I don't like seeing others get hurt emotionally and physically, because it brings back my own memories, and you just feel compelled to act and to help people. And I think that's what's inspired me to retrain as a counsellor, because I know I'm going to be in demand. But eventually, when I do get fully qualified, which is I'm a few years off of it because I want to speed up the process, but it's just the way that the curriculum works. And hopefully soon I'll be doing some volunteer work in a psychiatric ward, which will be really helpful for my own career development and also my expertise as a thought leader. So, and I'm also trying to grow my digital brands and try and make some money at the same time. So there's a lot in my life, but I love that. But I do need to carve out rest time, which is important for my head. And sadly, system, we don't get taught when to accelerate, to take a break, to sit down, to mellow out. And I'll go back to the podcast from, not my one here, but from Diary CEO, which is the biggest in Europe, I believe now, from Stephen Bartlett. And he's talking about sometimes this guy was literally take 60 days off per year, no mobile phone, no books, and just boredom. Boredom is good for the mind. I second that, because when I wake up in the morning, I go downstairs and literally I don't take my phone down. I might take it down, but I don't switch it on for at least 30 minutes, maybe even an hour sometimes per stage from the moment I get up. It's about an hour before I turn my phone on. And I pray first and I spend time in my front room. And that's so important, because we've got so much information coming to us, bombarding us. And also in our own minds, we've got this creativity inside us that wants to start a business. If you're a young person watching this, or you're somebody that's literally going through some problems at the moment, depression, anxiety, you've got anxiety and you feel like the world's on top of you and you're not having a good start to the year. I've been there 100 times over, and it is difficult. And it's not like there isn't help out there always is. But having gone through everything I've gone through in life, we don't always feel the need to ask for help because we're in that zone. It's like going through a tunnel, all right? I can't remember the name, but I think it's called Daylight with Sylvester Stallone. It goes in the tunnel and it gets closed off from both ends and they have to go through the tunnel. And you're in that tunnel trying to find yourself out, but you can't because you've got to try and help each other along the way. And sometimes we can't help the next person that's going through pain because we're suffering as well. And that's a difficult one. And that's why I'm trying to locally and trying to put in more mental, I'm calling it the Community Wellbeing Club. I've got it down here somewhere. No, I haven't. But anyways, it's all advertised. It's gone out. It's been marketed well. Feedback is really good. It's gone into a local Facebook group. It starts 2 Saturdays tomorrow, I think. Yeah. And it's a monthly club where people can come along, share, talk together, make new friends, and me as a leader, be there as a facilitator like I was as a teacher, offer support. If they want to talk to me in confidence, not at the venue, but somewhere else, they can do that. We can arrange that. It's not a chargeable thing. It's a free club. And we need that more than ever than each community town, because we're getting more angry. We are angry as a society. Look at what's happening across in Gaza and also in Ukraine. There's other conflicts that are not in the media. It's a harsh world, and some of us don't even watch the news because we feel like it's too much negative on our brains, which it can be. And we have to be careful with the content that we watch, and also from the people that surround us. And I know I'm giving you a lot on this podcast, but I'm going to probably slice it up and smash it out onto my social media platforms, as Gary Free always says. But I want to be real with you tonight because I feel like embrace. I went to the gym today. It was a good workout. I enjoyed it. I took it easy. I've done just 4 machines, nice and easy, 5 minutes each, nothing too hard. I'm a qualified personal trainer. I don't have clients. It's just something I wanted to do to get that qualification to train better. And also, I'm an ex-reservist, so my physical and mental physical knowledge is pretty good. I'm working on my mental well-being knowledge. I'm a growing expert in EQ from my own thought leadership and my own lived experience. And the biggest brands in the world, follow my work in bits and pieces across here on LinkedIn, which is great. But I don't think I've touched the surface yet in terms of helping people and changing their life. Do I want to change people's lives? I don't literally want to change people's lives, and I don't think that's my life purpose. I think for me, life is all about the skills that you have that you're good at. Invest in those, and if you've got an area of interest and you haven't got the skills, invest and get those skills. It might change through time. I'd rather be somebody that live to 100 or 70 or whatever age I'm going to live to, that has, and people, used to put me down, Steve, you've got too many ideas, but, it's kind of benefited me in my own knowledge to have different careers and to have different brands and to have different, I need focus. I get that. I've got a good business strategy this year. I'm really happy with it. It's planned out really well. I'm only into the second week of it, and I like it. I enjoy it. I can increase it, decrease it, move it around a little bit, but the core essence of it is working. And I love that. And I think sometimes We get so bogged down with we must plan this and plan that. I want to do this. I want to do that. Give your brain a rest. Sit down, as the podcast says. Relax. Go back to boredom. Boredom is good for us. I'm probably going to write an article when I launch my another newsletter in a couple of weeks called Mental Health for You, which is one of my brands. It hasn't got a newsletter yet. It will have. On why boredom is good for us from my own lived experience, because I tend to not to read too much in academia, although I do a lot of reading. I buy fresh new books now and again. I don't want to bore people with academia. The psychologist, this study said that study said that. And I think sometimes, you know what, I think about this today. If I lived my life according to each study, I wouldn't know wherever I was coming or going. Because this study says if you eat 2 packets of crisps per day, you'll live. It'll take 10 years off your life. Oh right, so I'm never going to have a packet of crisps in my life again. You know, we're becoming, I think, too much on the psychology of everything, and not enough on lived experience on ourselves, and create a sense of where do my emotions come from, which is your EQ. Your EQ, for those of you who don't know, is your emotional intelligence. And I have written one book. It's not published yet. I'm probably going to delay it because I don't think I want to self-publish, but I'm not sure. It's time consuming. It's been written, but that's another story. But back to the conversation about what is life all about. Guys, in the next few minutes, not easy. I think for me, life is all about taking your time with things. Let's go to step 1, right? Okay, this is a framework you might want to use. Take your time with your goals, your desires, your feelings, your thoughts, everything. Take your time. That's number 1. Number 2, when you go through those experiences, so you know kind of what road you want to go down, always sit down, reflect, and look at the past. Not you hang in the past, but you reflect to see, not all the time what you could have done better, but your own conscious self, and try to get yourself to a state of realization. And there's something in counseling that we call self-realization, or there's another word for it, I can't remember it. But when we sitting down with somebody else, and I'll be doing this for real soon, I think person-led counseling does this. There's other, CBT is not quite the same, but you're trying to get the other person to come up with their own initiative about how they're feeling, and you're pointing them in the right direction. The problem we have today, this is where mental health explodes. We don't have the core capacity. It's not installed in us within our education system to be able to have that self-realization. Only those that have got a high emotional intelligence are able to steer themselves away from, not completely, but most of the time, depression, anxiety, stress. We all have anxiety and stress, but if we let them get up too high, we can go into a low mood, a state of depression. But self-realization is really about where you feel you can recognize yourself and your emotions. So life is about learning to answer the core question. And life is about learning for your goodness, not to be selfish, because if your brain or your body is not functioning well, how can you help anybody? How can you be a father? How can you put a meal on the table? Yeah. We can't be happy all the time, but our core training should be from our own self-leadership. Should be to say, you know what? I want to be me. Okay. If I can be me in a real world, in a real sense, and learn from the past, improve, take rest, have fun, have my holidays, I will have purpose. If you have purpose, you're less likely to go into depression. You'll be more happy. Doesn't mean that other things are going to happen that are going to go wrong, and that's good for our own development, but you'll be in a much better state to combat the things that do go wrong, if that makes sense. Anyway, I've been speaking now for over 20 minutes, almost half an hour, which I can't believe. Apologies for my other viewers. if the sound is delayed. I hope it isn't, okay? But this is all being recorded, and if you don't already, please do send about open up a TikTok account. Most of this show, hopefully, I'm going to invest in it. Hopefully, it will get bigger and bigger. It's very hard trying to start a podcast the traditional way because on Spotify, sadly, it's too saturated. But I've got a good name, a good brand. I've got a global presence. News for You podcast. I pray and I hope will be much bigger in the future, in terms not just the audience but the actual impact it has on people's lives. So join me on TikTok, okay, where all the shows will be displayed in short and long form in the future. My name's called Healthy Secrets. You can find me on TikTok. Spread the word, even if you're a friend or a family relative and you think, oh yeah, I like listening to Steve. Do me a favor and spread the word and say, look, catch Steve daily from. I'm probably going to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 4 days per week. Give myself a nice bit of a work-life balance. Going live. I haven't set a time yet. I used to do 1 p.m. every day. That's kind of possible, but I'm not sure yet. So I might change the time, but you'll get notified if you follow me that I'm going live. TikTokers will be pre-live, so I'll be putting content on there. But anyway, guys and ladies, I hope you have a great weekend. I'll be back here on Monday, I do hope. Looking forward to having a restful weekend, but a joyful one. And think about the question, everything that I said tonight, ask yourself, what is life all about for you? Because we're in that week, that month, that time of the year where we're reflecting about what went wrong last year, what went well, how we're going to better ourselves this year. Some of us might be in a stress zone. Pen and paper is always a good job if you're in a stress zone. Sit down, slow your thoughts down. Breathe, right? That's the best way to kind of calm yourself down and get our collective thoughts together so we can get to ourselves to a point of self-realization. Okay? Anyway, that's it for me. I hope you've enjoyed today's show. I've gone deep and long. I think I'll probably do a later show. Got to keep it family, nice and clean, family content for social media marketing purposes for my own strategy. But I think I'll go late show. So that means in the evening. I just feel sometimes I just perform better in the evening. I don't know why, but anyway, enough for me. I hope you enjoyed the show. Blessings to all of you. Do have a great weekend. Stay well, eat well, sleep well, drink plenty of water, and I will see you back here live and pre-recorded, okay, on Monday. Okay, Happy New Year again. I know it's probably a little bit late in the day. It's 12 days in now. I hope the year is going good. If it's not, sit down, meditate on your thoughts, breathing exercises, and just stay well, stay blessed. Adios. Ciao, everybody.